Alrighty. Hello and good morning, Amy. How are you
Good,
today?
good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I appreciate you asking. Amy, I did shut off my camera, as I mentioned before we started the recording. My camera's been a little glitchy, so I don't want to make any crazy faces during this interview. Um, but if you don't mind, let's jump right into it. If you don't mind, tell me a little bit about your professional experience.
Sure, I'd love to. I currently have over 18 years of office management experience in a variety of industries. I would say my most rewarding and impactful position was spent at F&F Truck Equipment for 10 years, where we installed, repaired, and provided parts for hydraulic lift gates on semi trailers. And at the time that I was able to join F&F, they were dealing with some hardships within the company. And I feel I definitely played a big role in kind of building the company back up, and modernizing their processes before the owner sold the company in the end, which was sad to experience that because I really loved working for F&F. But it did allow me to get great experience in company licensing, fleet management, bookkeeping, billing, procurement, receiving, customer service, all of the good things. And I am definitely the type of person that likes to take pride in operational efficiency, given my meticulous organizational skills. Um, have to tell you, I do love a good spreadsheet or a checklist to help me
Yes.
manage my tasks, throughout the week. So I would say that I am dependable. I'm definitely a workhorse that likes results, and I'm used to wearing more than one hat at a time. I am adaptable. As long as the communication is clear on changes, I'm ready to pivot when you are. And I would say I'm also versatile. I have many skills within the office and outside of an office setting as well. And you will never hear me say that is not my job.
Yeah, I appreciate your introduction and definitely put into perspective as far as your work ethic and your skill set. So I appreciate you laying that down for us here. I want to talk a little bit about your experience. I see it on your resume. You also mentioned it during your introduction. I would love for you to tell me a little bit more in reference to your experience with purchase orders and working with vendors.
Okay. So I worked at Wright Trailers, which is a trailer dealership. We had race car trailers, cargo trailers, landscape trailers, things like that. I actually was hired to work in the accounting department. And then over time, I just kind of fell into parts and service. They weren't able to hold the positions. They weren't able to fill the positions. So I just kind of took over just because the accounting side worked closely with those departments. So there I was able to start dealing with purchase orders and communicating with vendors and suppliers to build contracts with them so we can get the best pricing, ordering parts from manufacturers, receiving. So I wasn't just sitting in the office at that time. I was in my steel-toed shoes and I was physically receiving products, and then going back in the office and getting on QuickBooks to manage the inventory, face-to-face contact with customers for parts and service. So from the customers coming onto the property, dropping off their trailers for repair, working with the technicians to get quotes together, ordering materials and parts, receiving and then processing those invoices into QuickBooks and setting up for payment to the vendors. I definitely have about 3 years experience doing that.
Incredible. And it definitely sounds like you're not afraid to get down and dirty, right? Putting
Oh,
on those steel toe
absolutely.
boots.
Absolutely. I mean, I prefer to stay in the AC these days,
Yeah.
but it seems like it's getting hotter every year, but I'll do what it takes for sure.
That's right. That's the spirit. I love that. And then kind of pivoting over to the because I know you mentioned that you do the purchase orders, you would kind of handle a little bit of the inventory, but all in all, in reference to some systems that you were using during your previous roles, what were some systems that you have used, or even some systems that you're familiar with using?
Definitely QuickBooks.
Mhm.
All of the Microsoft Office programs, Word, Excel, Outlook, even a little of design programs, Canva for marketing for flyers.
Amazing.
I used MaxTrax, which was a kind of a shop program um, for everything from employee payroll all the way to invoicing, bookkeeping, reconciling statements, and things like that. Also, Service Fusion I used in my brief experience as a service coordinator. Um, so I think those are the major systems. But I'm pretty tech savvy, so I pick up on new systems pretty quickly. Um,
And it definitely sounds like you use, many systems that, we use nowadays, especially with payroll and any other administrative, CRM system. So definitely a plus with that. I know that I mentioned off the actual recording and we're discussing a little bit about, the day to day and a little bit about the duties. One big part of this role is going to be coordinating the travel for the field teams. And sometimes it may be last minute, sometimes it may be international. Have you handled travel logistics like flights, hotels, and rentals before?
I have for the owner of FNF Truck Equipment, but I haven't done any travel internationally. Um, but I do have experience booking flights, hotels, car rentals, things like that. Um,
And that's not a problem that you haven't done any international, bookings or accommodations. That's definitely something that is trainable, but you have the exposure and the experience with the domestic. So
yeah.
that's a plus all in all. Also off the recording here, we're chatting a little bit about some housekeeping tasks that, would be involved in during, if you have some downtime, just really upkeeping and maintaining the office organized and clean. Are you comfortable with that as well?
I'll clean the toilets if the toilets are dirty. I have no problem with that.
Awesome, awesome. And I appreciate it.
I like to keep a little tub of wipes, every other day, wiping surfaces, dusting, that's my jam right there. So I definitely like to keep a clean space.
There we go. That's all that's to it. Now to wrap it up here a little bit, I just two more questions for you. But as far as any vacations, any time off that you're going to be needing in the next, let's say 30 to 60 days, do you have anything scheduled?
I have nothing planned.
No plans, no vacations for the summer?
No, I have a teenage daughter, so just kind of hang out in the area and do, local stuff, parks and walks and hikes and stuff like that. So
I gotcha. That sounds fun too. Now, my last question is really as far as starting a new position, how soon were you looking to start?
I would be available to start. Oh, you know what? I don't have a calendar in front of me.
No worries.
I'm sorry. I should have had that ready for you.
That's okay. No worries.
I'll get you the date here. The 13th. I'm able to start as early as the 13th.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. Now, I know with my client, we are having interviews on Thursday, the 16th. So if all goes well, let's say an offer is placed, it may be the 20th, latest perhaps the 27th. So it's definitely a plus knowing that you're able to start right away.
Okay.
Amy, I want to go ahead and just end this interview. It truly has been a pleasure getting to know your professional experience a bit. So if you don't mind, stay with me on the line really quickly. I want to chat with you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Of course.